Hello, Epic 7 newbies. This is Suspect Amy, and I'm here to do a quick video going over a fun time I had trying to solve an unbeatable arena defense. Let me pre-warn you, this video is really painful to watch, but I'm okay with you guys giving me grief if it means I can learn something from it. Here's the setup. Not to brag or anything, but my arena cleave team is just awesome. I very rarely come across a team that it can't handle without some minor tweaks. That is until today. Let me show you how this defense team works against my typical cleave setup. The number one thing that breaks my cleave is this right here. My Sea Phantom Politis can only remove 2 buffs, so if the defense aligns 3 buffs on their Politis and makes sure immunity is the 3rd buff, then I can never push their Politis back. This means that they will always push me right back and set up their very fast Genua and ambitious Tywin to destroy me. The next issue is the speed here. My Flan is around 280 speed, so my guess is this Politis is about 290 speed. Genua is over 285 speed, and Tywin is around 260 speed. Politis and Tywin, that's pretty common. I see these speeds a lot, but I don't know who is walking around with 285 speed Genuas, so you can see how this played out. Now I'm thinking, okay, let me bring in Fire Politis. She can counter their Sea Phantom Politis and prevent Genua from pushing up when he's triggered. This is how that one played out. Next I say, okay, let me do a slow cleave. My Elena and my Angie both have like a zillion effect resistance, so they won't get pushed back, and I really don't care how far back my 2 damage dealers get pushed, because I will have invincibility up. Did I mention my Elena and my Angie have over 200 ER? Why in the world is Tywin landing his debuffs? I don't have this character because I have a waifu only account, so I didn't find out until later that he ignores ER if he has the rage buff. This team actually comes really close, almost pulls it off. But the nature of my slow cleave is that my nukers need to be really slow in order to allow the enemy to waste a bunch of skills against my invincibility. However, the slowness here is just too much to overcome Yufien's S3. What other waifus can I try here? Let me try a team that's triggered by Politis. It counters and applies bombs, and I'll add Ice Cream Luluka to cleanse and set up defense buffs. Nope, both my Iseria and Celine are pushed back, and because of Yufien's passive, they can't push themselves forward enough to take a turn ahead of Tywin. Okay, how about this? Bombs Celine, and I'll bring my 150 ER maid Chloe to just cleanse and revive everyone after they go. It almost works, but Tywin does his thing, and this is when I actually went to the journal to find out why Tywin can land his debuffs on my high ER units. If Maid Chloe didn't get stunned here, I would have won. So at this stage, you're wondering, why don't I just re-gear Maid Chloe to be faster than Tywin? I don't know, I feel like that is cheating. re-gearing to beat a very specific defense isn't my bag. To me, if my heroes have semi-decent gear, then I think I should be able to win the battle based on the mechanics, not with a gear check. So now I'm getting frustrated. I think I got it. I do the slow cleave, but this time with the two best counter-attackers in the game, Landy and Yufine. Then I just pray that these guys rain down destruction while invincibility is up, and by the end they have their S3s ready to rock. Everything starts pretty well, but crumbles into later rounds. You know what's really weird is that Genua kills Yufine with his S1 and she has the Holy Sacrifice artifact, but she never revives. I can't explain why. Maybe someone can shed some light in the comments. So I tried a bunch more stuff, a full control team, several other variations of the teams I tried. I think I spent about 12 battle tickets on this. Then I decided to take a break and watch the video of my first cleave really closely, and nail down exactly what's going on. Obviously, I'm not able to push back Politis because of her buff stack, which means she goes and returns the turn order back to how it was, with Genua going next. However, I was lucky, and my Flan resisted their Politis pushback, so she gets the next turn. You can see that Flan is able to use her rotation to push my Aetheria ahead. Right here. This is the spot. They were mostly defense broken. If Aetheria goes, she would have cleaved and the match would have been over. However, Tywin passes me and wrecks my team. So let's figure out why Tywin passed me. One is that Aetheria got slowed by their Politis. I think this was expected, but two other things also happened to help Tywin. He resisted both my Politis slow and Flan's pushback. If any of these three things did not happen, my Aetheria would have cleaved and won the match. You may think he just has incredible ER, but I'm not so sure. He's 260 speed and still has over 22k HP. I'm sure he has defense and effectiveness as well. My guess is he probably has some ER, but likely not much, or else that would be some godly gear. I'm also landing other debuffs on him and pushing him back in other scenarios, so I feel like it's a bit RNG with him, not necessarily gear related. I am very, very, very close to pulling this off. I got some good RNG with Flan going next, but I got some bad RNG on the three things that let Tywin push ahead. First things first, I need to remove the RNG element around my Flan, resisting Politis pushback. She needs to always go second. Flan has the Guiding Light artifact, so technically she should be able to use the same buff stacking mechanism that the enemy Politis is using. Let me first talk about how these defense teams set up these buffs that pretty much disable my Politis. You know, I always thought buffs get applied randomly at the start of the battle. I didn't know there was a specific order to them, based on artifact or gear or whatever, because no matter how many times I fight this team, immunity is always the third buff. Tywin has the Bastion of Perlucia artifact. This artifact grants immunity and shield to the hero in the back. However, shield is always the first buff and immunity is always the third. So the game applies half of the artifact's buffs, then allows Politis to give herself stealth, then applies the other half of the artifact's buffs. That makes zero sense. I originally thought maybe you need to gear up with a protection set or an immunity set to manipulate the buff order, but then I did some testing and sure enough, the only thing you need is Bastion of Perlucia, and immunity will always be buff 3 on Politis. I can't explain why, it just happens. For you guys in the comments who complain about not having a fast enough Politis to outspeed her on defense, this goes to show that you can simply add a knight with Bastion of Perlucia, and it doesn't matter if you're slower. Your Politis will still get your turn right after theirs and can negate her effect by applying your own. I bring in Christie. It can probably be any knight, but Christie originally had the artifact, so I figured I'd give her a try. I did want a green knight to make sure Genua didn't nuke any of the other 3 more important heroes. Maybe Eula could have been a better option here. Now for my nuker. I actually didn't have a choice beyond Ida because I needed the souls for Flan. Ida's not as good as Aetheria, because she needs to double kill Yufine and she can't one-shot Genua, but she has stun on her S3 and she's water, so technically Genua shouldn't focus on her. The battle starts and already I'm doing well. Tywin didn't resist slow, so that means he won't be passing my nuker. Flan's buff stack works like a charm, and she's able to go next. Nobody resists defense break, so RNG is definitely on my side. Now you see Ida is next, but Jinhua is so fast he'll pass her in the turn order. Thankfully, Christy takes the hit and R and L didn't proc. Ida gets her turn and she stomps everyone, also landing a stun on Jinhua. At this stage, it's just routine cleanup. Some RNG on my side, but I think for the most part it played out exactly how I planned it. And that's how I ended up defeating the most unbeatable defense team in Arena. Let me know how you guys would tackle this team with your accounts and if you have any waifu suggestions that I could have tried instead. Do you guys also try to solve Arena defenses like this, or do you just ignore them? That's all I have today. Thanks for watching my video. Bye everyone.